makers, welcome to Amy Howard Home. This is Cristie and I'm coming to you from Northern California, and I own Joyful Art Studio where we do arts and crafts and all kinds of fun upcycling projects with our community here. And I have a fun project for you today. As you can see, I have this stool that has had many lives. I originally picked it up at a thrift store years ago. I cannot even remember where. And it has lived in our garage. It has lived in our game room. It has lived on the back patio sometimes in the summer. And I want to give it a new life, a fancier life. So I'm going to paint it and turn it into a plant stand. And so I have got this gorgeous new paint. It is called Miracle Paint, and it is right here, 1 hour Miracle Paint. And I have got this stunning turquoise color, which is called Get in Gear. Okay, and so this is a really gorgeous paint. It has a beautiful consistency, as you can see. I have gotten it all stirred up, and so it does not need any prep except for a clean surface. And so I have taken my clean slate and a clean cloth, and I have rubbed it down the best that I can, gotten in all those nooks and crannies, wiped it down to get any of the loose dirt and oils away from my piece, and I'm ready to paint. And so that's all the prep I have done. I have not sanded it. I have not stripped it, nothing. I'm just gonna use this paint. And I've got one of these chip brushes, which I really love. And I think what I'm gonna do is for my first coat, I'm gonna turn it over. I think I'm gonna find that it's gonna be easier to paint it this way. I'm going to load up my brush, and I think I probably will need 2 coats of this. I'm gonna need to let it dry a little bit in between, but I'm just gonna brush it on. This surface of this stool has a little bit of whoever painted it many moons ago used somewhat of a glossy paint. So I'm just gonna go through and give it one good coat. And thin coats are better than a super thick coat in my experience with paint. It's better to do more thin coats than one thick coat. You're gonna get better coverage, better surface feel to it. And I'm just kind of going back and forth, spreading that paint out. And when I don't have more, I'm gonna get another little bit. And so I'm using this paint because it is good for outdoor furniture or indoor. It will, unlike the one-step paint, which dries to a matte finish, this paint will dry to a satin finish. So a little bit of a sheen. So you definitely will not need to do any sort of sealing because it will be nice and wipeable. Hold up to the elements. We have a pool in our backyard, and it's got a darker turquoise to it, and then plants, and I think this will just blend in really nice with that. I love this color. I love it. So what things have you turned into old stools? What do you have, old stools? I mean, I see these all the time at thrift stores, at resale shops for free on all the social media. What are some other ideas for turning stools into? I have used stools, I still do, especially outside. We have metal stools, and We have them extra for if we need extra seating when we have company over for a pool gathering, or I use them for plant stands. I use them for side tables. Same thing in the house. I like them next to a chair or a coffee table. I mean, a sofa or something, because they're nice and narrow and tall. They don't take up a lot of floor space. Some of the couches these days are taller, and so it makes a great side table. You could even put some wood in between these on these little ringers that are holding the legs stable. Put some wood on there, put some books, have a multi-layered side table. There we go. So I'm just gonna finish coating this, and then we'll just have to do the top. It's always more tedious doing something that has a lot of round pieces. Get this side and then I'll rotate it. So where are you all coming from today watching here on Amy Howard Home? Are you across the ocean? Or where are you watching from? We love hearing that. We love saying hi. Tell us your upcycle ideas. Tell us what you want to see. This is the Miracle Paint if you're just joining us. And I'm upcycling a stool that I've had forever, which who knows how old it is. It's just that standard stool we see. Rotate this a bit. See how good that's already covering? So when it says Miracle 1 hour paint, it's going to be dry to the touch in an hour. I would still recommend letting it cure for a couple days to come to a hard surface before I let anything abrasive sit on it. It's always a good idea with painted items to do that. Okay, I think I've already got all these legs. That looks good. So I'm going to flip this gal over. There we go. I'm gonna do the top and then, get any of these underneath parts I didn't see. There we go. All right. And whenever I'm painting something, I brush my paint in the direction of the grain. And if you don't know which way the grain is going, let's say it's a solid piece and doesn't have much of a grain, just think about where it might be going. That way, any brush strokes that possibly show, they just add to the texture of it. So, there we go, all covered. All right, there we go. All right, we're gonna let this dry to the touch, probably less than an hour, and then we're gonna put a second coat on it. Okay, so here is our stool, and I have put 2 coats on of our Miracle paint, and let me tell you, because this is the first time I have used this paint before, I am so impressed. I can run my fingers on it, everything, and all I did was let it dry overnight. So, and look how it just self-leveled. I did no sanding, nothing, and you saw what a chippy mess this was. Even the top was the worst, and look at it, like there's hardly any nicks. So I wanted to kick it up one more notch. So we used our Miracle paint in Get in Gear, and also just look at the little amount it took. You could do so many projects with one of these quarts. I did 2 coats on our stool that you saw me do, and look, it's practically still full. So it goes a long way. It has awesome coverage and an awesome sheer finish. So I'm going to do a little stencil on top with our mesh stencils. So I have this roses one, and these are awesome. They're on the website. I'm just gonna peel it off, and if you've not used these before, they are a sheer ply in there, so the paint's gonna go through the transparent part, and I'm gonna just situate it. I thought these roses would be perfect. So see, I've got it here, and I'm going to just give it a really good burnish with my fingers, just really rubbing it in. There's no other prep. All I did was paint the stool, which you saw me do. Nothing. If you were doing this on a surface that had been painted a while ago, just make sure it's clean. So I've got all my stencil rubbed in. And then I have some of the awesome ink. This one is a white in I Declare. And I'm going to, this one is almost empty, so I'm gonna grab my other one. I love it that much. This ink is awesome. It is a permanent ink. And I'm just gonna touch it around. I have my squeegee. This one has a lot of angles on it, and I'm just gonna pull it across, pushing it into that mesh. Oh, this is gonna be so pretty. I can already tell. See how it's pushing in through that? Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm just gonna keep doing that. Get a little more. I prefer to keep adding the ink as I go instead of putting out a bunch at one time onto either a palette or on here, because you can always get more ink out of the little tube, but you can't get it back in if you don't use it all. And my supplies, I love to use them, but I don't want to waste them. So I also, next to me, have a container of water, because when you use these stencils, after you are done, you're going to want to peel it back, which I'm going to show you, and then you're going to want to pop it right into the water, unless of course you're right next to a sink, but because you don't want this ink or paint, whatever you choose to use as your color or medium with the mesh, you don't want it to dry in your stencil. Okay, so I'm just making sure, got all that excess. Okay, now here we go. This is the best part. I'm gonna turn it up so you can see it. So see, that's what it's gonna look like. The white parts are the part that went through. I'm gonna peel it back. Oh My goodness, look at that. Do you love it? I love it. Pop that into my water. So check it out. Isn't that gorgeous? Ooh, that white and that turquoise, that's just stunning. So now I'm just gonna let it sit overnight and it'll be cured and all ready to set up on my back patio and put a plant on it, or I could use it as a side table. I haven't quite decided which I'm gonna use it for. I may not wanna cover this beautiful print up with a plant. I might just wanna put a nice little summery drink and enjoy the weather. So what have you decided you're gonna use this new miracle paint for? I can think of so many reasons to be getting this paint and putting it on furniture and craft projects, all kinds of things. So anyway, thanks for having me. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.